What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 54. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
It's not over yet, Snake. It's not over yet.
And Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
All right, Brett isn't here. He's making the monies and stuff. Got a little bit delayed, so he may show up. We may not. Who knows? We may be over before him because us three, man. We just get through it fast, man.
We keep that short and sweet.
And then Manny's messing me up before the show, naming an anime that I remember, but I don't know the name of. It's like, God damn it, maybe you guys know it. Okay, if you guys remember Wicked City and Demon City Shinjuku, there was another anime that was kind of like it, and it had a guy with an extendo stick and a robot eye. What the fuck is that anime? Please, tweet at me. I'd rom you death. Let me know, because I'm curious. I remember seeing that on Sci-Fi. Remember it had Anna Mondays and stuff? I remember seeing that, but I don't remember the name. I want to give a shout out, obviously, to Mr. Kari Randolph for being on last week. Very awesome episode, very cool dude. I like that we gave him a very fiery show. Chris was just banging on his table and shit. That was awesome. I'm mad. So we'll try to have Kari back on again. Always good times with him. And we're gonna remember, obviously, if you go to Comic-Con next week, go find him and Mr. Manny at table what?
I-9.
At the Artist Alleys.
Yeah, I had to look at. I just got my badges from him today, and I was also looking at the thing. It looks like they managed to jam like 100 more artists into that one room. I'll tell you one thing about New York Comic Con. I don't even think that the I don't know how big the one in San Diego is, but this one is a pretty huge. They fit a lot of us in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know about people-wise, but special guest-wise or whatever. But as far as audiences goes, we already got them beat 3 years in a row. Actually, I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, the attendance for New York Comic Con has been bigger than San Diego Comic for 3 years in a row. This is probably going to be the 10th anniversary too, so I'm pretty sure it's going to blow it out of the water again. Which is interesting because you have it at Jacob Javits Center, the shittiest fucking convention center possible. But I guess we get the job done somehow.
What's hilarious is I remember when Comic-Con was going to die in New York, when they had Anime Festival, they had it separated, and then they merged them into one show. I don't know what they did. Maybe it was moving the date, because it used to be in February or March.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it was the middle of winter, and they moved it. Now it's October, right? I think that had a lot to do with the timing.
Yeah, you can't be cosplaying when it's 30 below zero, man, in New York. It's crazy. And then I remember that one year they moved it to April. That was really nice, And then now they locked it in, I think, for perpetuity or whatever in October, which is good because all the shows are debuting and stuff, So it really works out. All the comics, they can start their new lineups and stuff. In October, what is it? Marvel's going to be coming out with, all different Marvels. So, yeah, they're going to have a lot of cool stuff. So, it definitely worked having it in fucking October.
Sorry to interrupt you. Midnight Eye Goku.
Midnight Eye Goku.
Goku, Midnight Eye. There we go.
There you go. All right, people, we already answered the question that Manny was looking it up. Yeah, man. Shit, I didn't know that was the name of that shit.
Yeah.
Midnight Eye Goku. See, we're all about the old school. Oh, yeah, and of course, we recorded a new episode of Otanime, which you guys should check out. It'll be on the site Saturday, or you could just watch it now on YouTube. It's there.
Yes.
All right, so let's get right into our main topic here. There's a lot of fuckery going around. Well, actually, we talked about getting into the whole Anita Sarkeesian bullshit at the UN, but I kind of don't want to talk about that bitch. So
it's old news. See, the thing is, all I gotta say is, she managed to get her way into the UN. I don't know how that happened, but she did.
Yeah, it's and she goes in front of the audience to tell everyone, oh, they don't like me on YouTube. Do something about it. Really? Get the fuck out of here.
It's kind of sad that she has to waste the time of the UN when they have so many other more important things going on around in the world than to kind of waste their time with just trivial bullshit like, oh, someone's saying something bad about me. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
People get that. They're like, a lot of bad things get said about a lot of people, but they can't go to the fucking UN and tell them that say that there's somebody saying something bad about them.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want to talk about that shit anymore. It's stupid. Anyway, so this is the biggest fuckery of this week. There's a pattern going
Fuckery,
on. Yeah, fuckery. So, Rainbow Six Siege. What happened?
Well, yeah. Go ahead, Dre. Go ahead.
You interrupted me. So
No,
Rainbow Six,
I was gonna interrupt you on one of them.
Okay, yeah, Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty for last gen, Star Wars Battlefront, Evolve, Titanfall. What do they all have in common? No single player campaign. What the fuck is going on? Because it's like, here's the thing. Every company is now saying, oh yeah, it's not important. EA flat out said, oh yeah, people don't care about, single player. Yet people always get really, really mad when single player doesn't get included in the game. And you've seen what happened with Titanfall Evolve. No one cared about those games a month afterwards. So why is this becoming a trend? It's like the main, the companies are trying to do one thing while the customers are saying something else. What the fuck?
Well, I think they're trying to force an agenda. I think they're trying to push that way. So they go, yeah, you guys. Well, obviously, if you say something enough, like people start believing it. So I think it's one of those things where they're like, no, single player is not important. All you really want is the multiplayer. You guys are playing the multiplayer. We have the data showing you play tons of multiplayer. So this must be all you care about. So we can save money on story and writing and all this other shit and still charge you $60 for a complete multiplayer experience, right? Plus season passes and DLC. It works for them. It's money in the bank, because how much game do they have to make versus how much profit are they going to get off of?
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right about it. They look at the data and stuff like, oh, they spend X amount of time playing the multiplayer. Let's just focus in on that. But then it seems like they're not hearing the part where people are like, hey, where's my single player? And then they charge full price. It's like, okay, with Call of Duty, and by the way, that was bullshit too, what they did with Call of Duty the last gen. It's like, okay, you only get the multiplayer and zombie mode for $50. I'm like, you should probably bring the price down a little more than that, And then it's just ironic because they released a trailer showcasing the grandness of the single player mode. It's like, what? Really? Like, it just seems like they're telling you one thing and doing another. Manny, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, no, it's so yeah. That's the thing. It's like, okay, if you're gonna have a single, a multiplayer only game, fine. Don't charge full price for it. That's all I'm coming at it from. It's like, but then again, playing devil's advocate, if you pay $60 for a game that, like, let's look at fucking Destiny. There's no real story in that. It lasts you for an entire year. Even Call of Duty, guys, I just play Call of Duty nonstop for an entire year. They more than got their money's worth. So maybe that's how they're seeing it. Like, well, hey, fuck it.
Because I remember. One of the complaints, like, with like Battlefield was like Battlefield 3 and probably Battlefield 4. The single player campaign sucks. They just get out of the way, but it's there. I mean, you could play it. You don't have to, but it stinks. And I'm sure execs see that and go, oh, they only care about the multiplayer. Look at the hours they play the game. Look at the hours they play multiplayer. They obviously don't play the single player. So why are we wasting money on it? Let's just make them play the multiplayer, and we could charge full price for it. And we reap all the benefits from it, but
yeah, it's executive think.
Yeah. Because look at all their other games. Look at all the other games that are big in the last couple of years. They're not multiplayer only games, right?
The only game that is multiplayer only. I mean, actually, no. Okay, let's go back. Call of Duty is not multiplayer only, but that's the example they're using because that makes the most amount of money. They're like, hey, they're only playing multiplayer here. Let's go with that. They want to replicate Call of Duty, basically. So it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I think they should look at the other stuff. And Destiny is not a good example because Destiny was built to be like an MMO light, so that needs to be online all the time. But it still has a deep story. It's not like you're just doing like
that's debatable. But I think
it has a story. Yeah. It has a story, right? It has a story. It has a lore, and you follow it, and you play with other people. It's not like team deathmatch all the time or something like Evolve. Like Evolve is this crazy team deathmatch all the time.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe we should just get rid of the whole. Okay, let's take Destiny out of the equation. Let's go for what it really is. It's Call of Duty. They're trying to replicate Call of Duty.
Right.
But they're trying to distill it to its what they think is the most important part of Call of Duty, the multiplayer, which admittedly is the biggest part of the game. But they think that can work for every game. Look what happened in Titanfall. No one gave a shit about that game after it came out.
Yeah.
Evolve, I think no one gave a shit afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. And if they do that with Call of Duty, if you try to apply it to other games outside the bubble, the weird bubble that is Call of Duty, it's gonna fail because look at what we've been talking about for the past month. Metal Gear.
Yep.
Metal Gear is a huge deep story, and that's why we love it. And you know what were we playing before that? People were playing Batman. People were playing
Bloodborne.
the Bloodborne, deep lore, deep story, great single player experiences. Like Bloodborne, yeah, has that jump in, jump out kind of invasion and whatever, but it's not a multiplayer game. Like you could play that game is really a solo experience.
Yeah, exactly.
And Metal Gear is a solo experience. Besides the FOB stuff, that doesn't really count. It's a single player game. And these big experiences. Look, we're gonna get Fallout 4 is probably one of the most highly anticipated games of the year. 100%
No single player. Yeah, exactly. No single. Yeah.
No
but
multiplayer.
you're right about that. But so I don't. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the executives. They don't really think like everybody else and stuff. But then on the flip side, because just trying to give both sides of the argument here, people are there are people out there. I know Riku was kind of like this too to some extent, where if the game is only single player, they'll pass on it. So would you think just again flipping it around, you think if a game is just single player, it should only be $40? Or cheaper?
I don't think so, because like multiplayer has grown into its own along with the games. Like back in the day, like if we were growing up with games, there was only single player games. There wasn't really multiplayer. And even in the days when Doom came along and stuff, you had to get all these other pieces of software to even play online. I remember trying to play Doom online, and I needed 3 different things to make it work. It's like multiplayer's grown into its own, and I can understand like, okay, if and adjusting the costs and stuff maybe, but I think a great single player campaign. I don't think like Skyrim should be $40 because it's only single player, or Fallout. There's huge games with huge stories and stuff. Like you can't diminish that and say, well, it doesn't have multiplayer, so I don't think it should be worth. I think a multiplayer only experience though, I think is a different thing. I think story and all that stuff really makes a game. That's the core of a game, right? When you're just having like, here's Team Deathmatch Series, something like Umbrella Corps, I wouldn't pay $60 for that shit.
Oh, thank you for bringing it up. That's another one. No campaign mode in that shit either, man.
Yeah, Nazca, I wouldn't pay full price for that. If they said that was $60, get out of here.
I do think in general it doesn't. I mean, it takes a long time to develop a game, but I think to develop multiplayer games, it doesn't take as many because you don't have as many maps or environments. You don't need to worry about a story. You don't need to worry how it connects to gameplay. All it is gameplay.
Right, and the execs think about that. They're like, we don't have to pay writers. Hell, we could get a couple of guys at the office to make grunts and screams when you get shot. Like, that's all savings. That's all money in their pocket. That's why they want.
And that's how they. Yeah, that's all they're thinking. They're just thinking about the bottom line. Like, okay, this is what people want, and this is how we could save all this money. They don't give a shit about it. But to answer my own question, no, that's like a single player game that has full acting, a story, and all that shit. That's the $6 thing. Just like you said, Chris, that's the core of a game. And I've always said this, and people don't like when I say this. I don't give a fuck. Basically, to me, multiplayer has always been like a tertiary thing, like a vestigial tale. It's like, okay, it's there, but you don't really need it and shit. You take the multiplayer out of a game, it doesn't hurt at all. However, if you add multiplayer into a game, it can hurt it. We've seen that happen. And even like in 2 cases, I'll bring 2 examples. One, you have like people possibly invading your shit. Nobody likes that. Or you have like the main team diverting all their attention to the multiplayer mode and kind of hurting the single player. I'm looking at you, Dead Space 2. And there's a couple of games like that. It's like they were fucked up because of that. So the single multiplayer, it's not. I know some guys love it and shit, but to me, and a lot of people like me, I know everybody in this room at least, that it's not necessary. It's cool. It's a nice add-on. It's like, okay, you bought this burrito, right? The burrito's great, right? Here's some potato chips to go along with it. Hey, I appreciate the potato chips, but if you take the chips out of it, I don't really give a shit. I'm not coming in just for the potato chips, I want the fucking burrito. I want the full meal.
For me, a multiplayer has never, ever sold me on something. But one part of multiplayer I do like, online multiplayer, is the co-op multiplayer, where essentially you could have a campaign, you could have your buddy walking along with you, kind of like Bloodborne and stuff like that. I've always liked.
Yeah, I mean, you get that in the new Star Wars game. It's a campaign co-op like thing, but again, Where's the main story? Where's the characters? You know,
Right.
you play these games for like to be engaged in a plot that takes you along for a ride. If you take that out of the equation, it's like so we're just like I don't know I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like it just seems very hollow. You know, like a
Yeah.
hollow experience.
Well, this happened before with Halo. Like, Halo has a great single player and a great story and a lore that's built around it, but it also has multiplayer, right? If you took the multiplayer and just said, "Here's Halo," we're just taking out the lore, fuck the arbiters and all this shit. You just play your maps and you have your team deathmatch and deathmatch and whatever. We'll just give you that. They would be pissed, and this has happened. It was called ODST, where it had a very weak single player game, a multiplayer, and they charged bucks for it. People were livid. People were pissed at that game. Why? Because the single player was like this big, and the multiplayer was the whole core of the game. It has happened.
But yeah, I guess just to answer, and you answered it perfectly, Chris. Yeah, it's like why does this keep happening? Because the publishers want that fucking money. That's all they're thinking about. They don't think about the fact that everybody gets pissed. You know, they look at Call of Duty as that one example.
Also, I think a game, those games would probably be in, longer in development if they had those multiplayer games, with the exception of Call of Duty. With the exception of Call of Duty, where they just don't want to they don't want to make the single player work for the last gen, which I understand.
Yeah, because everybody's moving on anyway. But
everybody's kind of moved on already. So the thing is that they're just like, what? Nobody's playing it on there. Everybody's got a new console, and they should be playing it on a new console. That's fine, but to be honest, it's like that's also them having their cake and eat. It's like, well, we got the multiplayer to work.
Yeah, and then I'm wondering if I was going to ask if it was like a generational thing with the multiplayer. It's like why it's grown so big, but even like. Kids are, 20 and stuff. They see like, hey, where's the single player? What's going on? As a matter of fact, all ages, by the way. But when they talk to me, it's like, hey, the game I'm looking forward to is Star Wars. That's why we're using it as a featured image. I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, oh yeah, what do you think about the fact there's no single player? They all go, what? What do you mean? Like even they can't believe it. It's crazy that that's why I wanted Star Wars to be highlighted here. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that this game doesn't have single player for some reason.
The thing is that they just all they've ever shown is gameplay, and people they've said that there's no single player, but they haven't outright said it.
Well, they should. Well, DICE is horrible at single player. Like I explained, the Battlefield single players have been terrible. Like that, the core of what they do is you're looking at it in Battlefront. It's just Battlefield with a Star Wars skin on it, and that's what they're good at. And that's all they're focused on. And I think it's a bad idea because what's the appeal of Star Wars? It's the story, right? So you're not giving anyone anything except a chance to like shoot a blaster and fly around in an X-wing, maybe. Like that's the appeal of it, and blast each other. Like that's it. Weird. Real fast.
And it's every single set, and I'm sure it's every single set piece from all the movies, the big wars. So it's like it's Hoth, it's Endor, it's it's maybe one of the places from the new movie.
And I'm not to insult John Williams because he's a great composer, but I'm tired of hearing his fucking music. Somebody make some more Star Wars the same songs from the first 3 movies. That's all they play is the same orchestral shit. Like nobody made new this shit. Somebody please compose some new music for Star Wars already.
Yeah, it's like, hey, John Williams, can you make new music for us, please?
I'm sure it's too expensive, so they probably wouldn't pay for that anyway. They're like, just looped up the Hoth music over again.
Here's the question
Shadows of the Empire.
Here's a question I want to ask, because this always kind of perplexed me. I kind of get it more now than I used to, but it's still weird to me. How do you just play the multiplayer of a game and just be fulfilled with that? I've never understood that mentality, and that's where I was coming at it from with the whole generational thing. It's like, is it a generational thing? I don't understand it. It's like I get bored like after Destiny was probably the one that hooked me the most. That was like a month, and even I'm like, okay, I need to move on. But you have guys constantly playing Destiny, constantly playing Call of Duty, constantly playing all these single multiplayer games. I don't understand the appeal of just going in, blasting the shit out of each other.
I think
for hours every single night. It's the only answer I come up with is like you're in a room with your buddies. That's the only one I could come up with. But what about the guys that just go in with randoms and beat the shit out of each other?
I think also just the familiarity of it. You can kind of fall into those sorts of things where you just kind of doing the same actions. You know?
Maybe, I don't know, but maybe I'm just really, because I know there's some people out there, they have their, I call them comfort food games.
And I think for a lot of people that's what those games are.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because me, I don't have comfort food games. I'm always playing the next game. I don't like to go back. I'm always moving forward. That's why it's weird to me. It's like, okay, here's my game, and it's all I'm playing now. It's like there's other things out there. I don't understand this.
Well, I mean, I could tell you one thing: those people who just play 1 or 2 games a year are saving themselves a shitload of money.
That's true. I mean, maybe they're poor or something. They can't buy any other game, so just playing it. You know.
That's how it was in the old days for us. I mean, when
true.
When our parents thought that games were too expensive, you had to sit with Super Mario Brothers until somebody decided to get you a new one. And it wasn't always a good one.
Super Mario would last you for a while, though.
And it wasn't always a good one. Sometimes you get Karate Champ.
Yeah. Here's one thing I always hear when I ask this question. People go, "Oh, because they like the unpredictability of an actual opponent, not an AI opponent." What do you guys think about that? To me, I don't find that appealing because normal opponents seem to be very, very cheap.
AI can be very cheap too, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean AI can go all over the place. You can get AI that can pop you from like across the map and perfect shot you all the time, or you get AI that doesn't know which direction to look in. People are all over the place too. I've played when I used to play Gears of War and I used to squad up with people. I've played with guys who are like precision and they're great and we win every match and they know exactly what to do. And I've played with guys who just run around like chickens in a fucking hen house and just run in random directions and don't know what to do. It's all over the place. And honestly, I play those games really. I want the single player and I enjoy the multiplayer later. I've played every Halo like that. I want to get into the story and stuff, and then I'll go play some firefight with some friends. Hey, you want to play some Halo? Sure, that's it. But it's not like that wasn't the appeal to me. The appeal was I want to continue the story. I want to know all this shit, this lore,
Yeah, that's the main thing right there. And I guess just to wrap this up, when do you think this is going to stop? When do you think executives are finally going to get it? It's like, hey, people want single player guys.
The only way they'll ever get anything when you vote with your wallet, if you don't buy into this shit, if the Call of Duty guys keep buying this shit, it's it doesn't matter. Call of Duty is in its own bubble. But if they do this in other games and it flops Evolve or Titanfall, if that keeps happening, they'll stop it because it's that's the only way they get messages. They don't get messages where people flat out say, hey, we don't want this. We want, I want a full game. And they're like, yeah, but we have PowerPoints that say otherwise. So the only way to change those fucking PowerPoints is don't buy that shit, right? Don't buy it. Just play full games. Full games means you have a nice single player piece and then maybe you have some multiplayer. Or maybe you don't. Maybe it's like Elder Scrolls. Maybe it's like Fallout. You could have a huge, big single-player universe to play in, and that's fine, too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it is. Roll your roll, because right now you're seeing this trend. So I'm guessing maybe another year or two until they finally get it. It's like, hey, guys.
It's like, I don't know, these executives are always in a bubble. Like the GameStop CEO, what was he saying the other day? Disc-based games will be around forever. I'm like, you keep thinking that, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Well, if no disc-based games exist, they're out of money.
They're out. So of course he's going to say that shit. But
exactly.
Come on.
Right, Manny. Final thoughts.
That's why GameStop is selling toys now because disc-based games are doing so well, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Manny. Final thoughts. Wrap it up.
I don't know. I mean, whatever. We'll see. Listen, we'll see what happens when Star Wars Battlefront and of course Call of Duty is going to do it, but we'll see what these games do when it's finally out, because I feel like we're gonna hear the same story. It's gonna be Evolve. It's gonna be Titanfall.
I wonder if people are gonna be more pissed off because it's Star Wars. They expected a single player game. Remember, people are still in the dark.
Nobody. The thing is that look at the development time on this game. It hasn't been that long, and they already have a pretty close to finished product. You're telling me they're going to get a storyline and all that other stuff in there, and then they have
No, not that. It's just people. Remember, like I said, people are in the dark. They think it has single player in it.
No, it's. I mean, the thing is that it's too bad that people can't really put 2 and 2 together sometimes. I'm sorry to sideways call you guys out there a little, not
Look at you trying to
acceptable.
be diplomatic, man. Just say it. People are fucking stupid.
I
They
was
don't,
saying
they don't, they don't listen when they flat out say this game has no single player mode. What do you mean? I mean it has no single player mode. You
I'll let
fucking
you. I'll
dolts.
let you be the blunt instrument, Tony.
Yeah, exactly. You fucking dolts. I said it 5 times in 1 hour.
Yeah,
People.
I think the thing is that just people
Obviously, we're not
stop.
talking about our fans. You guys aren't stupid. You guys know. But I'm talking about normies. They don't fucking get it.
I think just people just don't, that what they put out there. Everybody sees Star Wars, and they're like, oh my God, Star Wars, and then that's already the smoke screen.
Are you saying they see stars when they see Star Wars?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Star Wars.
and then the thing is that you put like then again, and then the other thing is you put like a thing that everybody loves, most people love, Star Wars, on top of a first person shooting type of game, and then they're just like, oh my God, whatever.
Give me that shit. But then they were like, yo, it's a single player.
Yeah.
It's like, weren't you listening?
Weren't you listening, motherfucker? All right, let's move on here to some news. It's not really news. It's just impressions. So PS4 3.0, the Kenshin update came out. It's kind of shitty. Like, I appreciate the fact that I finally have 10 gigs for online saves and stuff. For my game saves.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All the other stuff though, like the main feature was like the group chat or whatever, the groups you could have and shit. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. People are even asking me today, like, hey, you're gonna have a Throwdown one? Sure, why not? But the problem with it is, it's just a reskinned group chat that we already have. So basically, you're gonna be bombarded with fucking messages all the time. Idiots coming and going, sending messages to each other. Like they should have done it in a different way than this. Like like an actual forum or something. The way that this thing's set up, it's kind of janky. And there's some other features I didn't even bother checking and shit. Chris, I know you have some things to say about this.
Well, I have a problem with like when they added the communities thing and they changed the friends list, right? Before you could just see who was online, right? So real fast I could scroll through, like see you or Manny or someone else was online, and if I want to do a chat with them. Now it's just a giant list. It's all your friends, boom, jammed in one list. And I'm like, I don't care if it's sorted by online and offline. It's a giant fucking list. No, I don't want to see that. Like, if anyone's offline, I don't care because they're not on. Like, I'm looking for people online. Why did they take that away? And Manny said there might be some setting buried, but I don't know why they it was default. It was fine. So
yeah, where you could just go to the tab that said online, and then
yes. So they took that tab
that.
away, and you just have your friends list. And now you have this community things, which has this awkward search thing to find like people to talk to, and then you could search by game and request to see in someone's game. Before I just went to, like, if I wanted to see Manny's game, I'd just be like, hey, can you do share play? Now you have to go to this other thing to request to watch the game. I'm like, what is? I don't know what. I don't know. They want people to communicate more on the thing, but I think forcing it is silly.
Yeah, look what happened when Microsoft tried to force shit. Look, that didn't go very well. But yeah, it just became a big mess now. And by the way, I just have to say it again. We're talking all this shit about it, and no one's gonna care. Crickets. It's just gonna be this all day, But yeah, I mean, like I said, the positives. I like the online storage space, and I like the fact that you could stream to YouTube directly because how YouTube has streaming, so that's good.
Yeah.
But the community thing is it's a big failure, man. I'm looking at, I'm like, what the hell? Like, why didn't they give us a feature where, like, we could have select people in certain groups? Like, I would put you guys in a certain group and stuff, but no, it's just, here's everybody. Like, really? What kind of jumbled mess is this shit?
Man.
And what else is in this thing?
They also put the ability to put short videos onto Twitter. So you
10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell can you show in 10 seconds?
Yo, man, you can make somebody salute.
Yeah, 10 seconds. And then the ironic thing is, Twitter itself lets you put up 30-second videos.
Yeah, so does that help? I don't know. What else did they add? You could stream to YouTube now, so I guess they got a deal with YouTube to add the live from PlayStation. You could stream there now.
Yeah, because they have YouTube games now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking through this shit. I place it because like I said, I've been so busy with Metal Gear.
Did they remove the that UPS player? Did they take that off?
I think so.
I think they took it off.
Yeah, and they have like a new app for like a like an app so you can listen to your music or some shit like that.
What was wrong with the old one? I don't understand why they changed it.
They're just changing stuff for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
And now they have PlayStation. Oh, actually, no, that's something interesting. We'll talk about later on, the PlayStation Theater. But yeah, I don't know. This and people don't like it. Like yesterday, I was talking to my friend Ray, and he just hit me up, and he was pissed. He was like, "Hey man, like, why is this more complicated than it was before? Why is it just a reskinned PlayStation chat room? That's all it is, you know."
All I want to say is if everybody doesn't like it, just complain about it to Sony. Maybe they'll fix it.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, let's throw this in. We got a light week, by the way, because nothing fucking happened. The PlayStation Theater, Manny, what's all this about?
Oh, it's just a deal between Sony and PlayStation and Best Buy. The theater is still the Best Buy theater in New York City. The Best Buy theater is actually on Times Square. It's a little off Times Square, around the corner from the Viacom building.
Yeah, the Nickelodeon one, right?
Yeah, where Nickelodeon and MTV are. It's where Carson Daly used to do the stupid that stupid video show all the time. Anyway, it's like really literally right around the corner. Anyway, the theater is going to be rebranded for a limited time to the PlayStation Theater. So it's going to be it's going to have all kinds of fun PlayStation stuff all over the place, and they're going to redo the car. Just essentially make it Sony PlayStation themed. And then they're going to have a special show from the theater. Of which I don't know. It's supposed to be streamed on the PlayStation, and that's about it.
I don't. I guess for the 20th anniversary or something.
Yeah, it's for the anniversary.
That's cool.
So is this stickers thing like the PlayStation version of emojis?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this shit now. Is that what it? Emojis.
Yeah, it's like stickers with Telegram. If you ever used the program Telegram, the messaging service, you have these sticker things, like these big images that you can use and post them to people.
I guess the only thing that I can see noteworthy is if you have PS Plus, if you go to the icon, like you can see everything available for PS Plus people like right away. Before you have to dig through the store,
which is cool. I'm glad about that.
I'm looking through this. So yeah, request to watch gameplay. We already were able to do that. We were already able to do that.
Can I watch your gameplay? No.
Stickers. Now playing / what's new. I don't really care.
Yeah, but I feel like why would I go to a stranger and say, "Hey, can I watch your screen?" That's what Live from PlayStation is for. I could go see when somebody's streaming. I can go, "Hey, I want to see." Oh. Hey, he's playing Batman. Let me go watch this guy.
Yeah, that's what
it was for.
They also put like an events calendar, so now everybody can know whenever game studios are maybe doing live streams and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Actually, I want to talk about events because actually this is cool too. On top of that, you can actually set up an event with your friends, right? Like, hey, tomorrow we're gonna play Metal Gear at 3:00, right? Mm-hmm. And at 3:00, your PlayStation will turn on and boot up the game. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's the future right there.
Like, where's my play? Oh shit, the event. That's right. Let's go.
Yeah, so I'd be freaked out if I was sitting there like, why is my system turning on?
There's if you have one of those sorts of televisions that senses when a device connected to it turns on, it'll automatically turn on its own. That might be even freakier too.
Mine future. No, it's Oh, you remember our old TV? It has that feature, the AnyNet. It like the PlayStation turns on my TV, even if I have it on. Like let's say I'm watching cable, I turn on the PlayStation. The PlayStation forces the TV to switch over to it, so I don't have to do anything. I just turn PlayStation time, just turn on. So
they have favorite groups. It says favorite group has been added to the Friends app, letting you quickly access groups of people you like to play games with frequently. I didn't see that.
I didn't see that either. I saw the communities thing, but I didn't see that.
Yeah, so the favorites. So there you go. You do have a favorites group.
Yeah, but it's just buried somewhere apparently. Like where the fuck is it?
Yeah, they added more stuff when you hit the PlayStation button on the home screen. They added stuff in there, but like it was available before. Like I didn't have to go to a sub menu to get it.
Yeah. I don't get it. And then they're probably gonna add another fucking update just to fix this one, because no one likes it. I wonder what guy they're gonna name it after this time. Like, I'm noticing it's those Sengoku Basara guys.
Well, you mean those real people that the Sabuku turned into like superheroes?
Yeah, because they had the first dude, the guy who was always screaming, your lordship. They had an update on him. Then they had Masamune. Now they have Kenshin. Now who would be next from that?
I'm sure they won't call one of them Nobunaga.
Yeah, they won't call it. Nobunaga is a very
evil update.
Nobu Hirohito.
The devil update.
Yeah, they won't do that.
It's the Devil King update.
Oh man! All right, let's move on here to I don't know if you guys heard about Tony Hawk. So they came out with Pro Skater 5. This is an actual new entry in the series, right?
Bro, shit, embarrassment.
It not only is it's bad on every conceivable level. It looks like a PS2 game. It doesn't fucking work. You can't even make your own character. It's like they were trying to do a throwback, and they just fucked that up completely. The 3DS one is a better one. There was a Tony Hawk game for the 3DS that was great. This one is shit. Like, it's crazy.
Well, you know what? That's what nobody ever said that Activision puts real money into certain when they do certain games like that. I remember.
How do you have a patch that's bigger than the game?
Yeah, I heard about that. That's embarrassing. It's we need to overwrite the whole game. It's so bad.
The whole shit. Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened. Treyarch is too busy making first-person shooters than Tony Hawk games and Spider-Man games.
Did they even make this game?
No.
This game is too embarrassing for them to have made it. That's how bad it is.
It goes to the whole thing. It's like, who let this out the door? Like, who said, oh yeah, this is good, put it out there? Like, who said that shit? Like, they weren't like, okay, this must have been Q test like normal, right? There's probably a room with 10 dudes minimum, and nobody went, hey, yo, the game's fucked up.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about game developers. Somebody went, hey, this game is broken, and the higher up guy said, put it out anyway.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I told you that story about when I found I know somebody found a Metroid Other M bug, the game-breaking one where you couldn't progress. I found that shit and I reported it, and all they told me was, oh, somebody probably found it already. It'll be fixed. That shit went out the door. It was not fixed. Like, I'm pretty sure somebody said, yo, this game is janky as fuck, man. Like, we can't sell it. They're like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, like they're like, hey, do you have any bugs to report? And the guy put down like a big ass, like those old phone books and shit. Like, here you go.
And then the higher up guy looked at it and said, okay, which one of these bugs can be fixed in less than a week?
2 weeks.
And then the guy goes, none of them.
None of them. Okay, put it out anyway. People buy it. It's Tony Hawk. Again, it's just like corporate speak. It's corporate thing, man.
But it's stupid. It's like, no, they're not going to buy it because it's Tony Hawk, because it's not the 1990s anymore. I don't know if these guys have read a newspaper lately. I don't see skate culture anywhere but back in the 90s. Like, that's when these games were big. Like, even in the early 2000s, that shit started to fade away. There's no more SSX. There's no more extreme snowboarding games. There's no extreme
aggressive inline
games. There's no aggressive inline anymore. That game was great. But so was the old Tony Hawk games. If you wanted to do everyone a favor, go HD up Pro Skater 4, right? We didn't need this game. And honestly, like, the skate culture's gone. If you want to bring people back into that, you had better put your best foot in there. Like, where's your AAA guys? Where's Treyarch to make that shit? Like, I don't know what scrubs he got to fucking make Pro Skater 5, but man, it's an embarrassment.
Yeah, and a wild Brett Murdoch appears.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Brett.
Yo.
Sorry, real life got in the way of my video game podcasting.
Yeah, it's all right, man. Yeah, we told everybody, like, he's making his monies. So yeah, we're just talking about the Tony Hawk bullshit. I don't know if you heard about it. They released a super broken ass game.
Surprise.
Yeah. Oh no, Brett. But it gets better. Not only is it broken, right? The graphics look like it's a PS2 game, and the patch for it is bigger than the actual game itself. It's crazy, man. But earlier we were talking about how games don't have, they're trying to get rid of single player, and it all comes back to these corporate guys. Oh yeah, it worked for them. Do it like that. Like, oh, you don't like that? No, but I have statistics here that prove otherwise. The same bullshit. Tony Hawk was, look how many numbers Tony Hawk did. Put it out there, people will buy it. It's like 2015. It's not 1995.
Yeah, it's look at Tony Hawk's sales numbers. It's like, all right, so what are we gonna do next? Neo Geo 2?
Yeah, right. Shit, it's crazy.
I mean, I hear Pong was like its sales numbers were amazing.
You know what's hilarious? Why I think they fucking rushed this piece of shit out. I think Activision's multi-year deal with using Tony Hawk's game expires at the end of this year.
Oh, really?
I think that's why they squeezed this turd out before the fucking deal expired.
Yeah, I heard something like that. They're like, okay, let's just get this out there. That's probably why they didn't even Q test this shit. They're like, fuck it, just go.
Oh god, just throw it out there.
Yeah, and
that's
they
Sort itself out.
think about it. They haven't used the Pro Skater name in like what 10, 12 years, and all of a sudden this one is called Pro Skater 5. Like that's gonna give it any credibility for being a broken piece of shit.
And it's literally like they took all the stuff out of Pro Skater that made it great. It's like everything is gone. It's like a bare bones like back to square one version of Pro Skater.
Man.
Yeah, but that's what it is. Though. It's like, okay, like I said, if they just re-released like an old game, people would probably be happier with that.
Yeah, if they just said, hey, we're going to put on the PSN Classics, we're going to put Pro Skater 3 and 4. That would have been better than this. Those are actually good games. And it's funny because EA, I saw a guy talk about this, EA put Skate on sale on Xbox Live. They dropped the price of it. I was like, well, what a coincidence. They're like, hey, that game is shit. We have a Skate game that actually works. Let's put it on sale.
Let's play Ollie Ollie.
Sales. Has anybody noticed that Broken Age is on sale on Steam right now for like 80% off?
And Broken Age Broken Age is actually going to be free on PS Plus next week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you're not fooling anybody by putting it on sale for $8.
It's insane, Brett. I'm glad you got here because we were almost about to wrap up the show. Because there's nothing fucking going on. Anyway, what are your thoughts about the whole trend of single player going away? Or at least the company's trying to force that on people. Even though people are like, no, we want single player. No, you don't. No, you don't. Call of Duty, people don't care. That's all they're thinking about.
I think that there are companies doing it right, and I think that there are companies doing it wrong. I think the idea of single player is going to probably get phased out, and I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing if it's done correctly.
Dude, hold on, I gotta stop you right now. If single player gets phased out, you're looking at 3 guys here who are not gonna play any more new games. I'm just telling you that right now.
That's what you think, but I don't think that won't be the case because they won't do it in a way that'll drive current customers out. Like, you don't exist in a world by yourself, Tony. You exist in the same world as me, and we both exist in the same world as Chris. Now, that doesn't mean that everything I do involves you. In fact, some of the stuff that I do doesn't involve anybody else. Some of it involves people only in a very glancing manner. So I think as they kind of put us all in the same world, it's going to come down to like, well, do you want to play with other people or do you want to play by yourself? Do you want to do a mission that does multiple people? And I think it'll be seamlessly integrated. So while you'll still be in an online environment, you don't have to participate with other people necessarily, or it'll be ingrained into the game. Dark Souls comes to mind in the way that they do that, where it's mostly a single player game, but you can join other people. It's kind of like a seamless crossover. I hope the Division is going to be like this, where you may play the Division completely by yourself. I may play the Division, engaging other people, but it's still technically a multiplayer game, even if you only choose to do stuff by yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think Tony was saying that. I think what he was saying is if games become like Call of Duty, where it's just basically team deathmatch or single player deathmatch, like those type of games. If EA starts pumping out games that are just like squad based deathmatch, fucking shooters, $60.
Yeah, I'm done. Fuck that, I'm done.
Like no, the Division's Dark Souls. I love the Souls games. Like Tony loved Bloodborne. Like we want like co-op. If if Evolve was a co-op game where you're hunting down a monster, imagine you play with your friends, or the AI takes them over and somebody could jump in and you squad up and you give orders and you go hunt the fucking monster, that game probably would have did gangbusters. But because it was just a squad deathmatch, one team's the monster and one team's this bunch of hunters, and that's all you do is play, fucking chase through the jungle for 50 times, you're going to get bored, you know?
Yeah, but okay, so if we're talking about everything's going to devolve into that, I don't think everything will devolve into that, though, because
if EA has their way, it will. When they look at their PowerPoints and their sheets, you don't see these guys have tunnel vision. They're looking at a graph with it says money. They're just like, oh man, we could cut out writers, voice actors, whatever. We could just, all this DLC, season passes, golden guns, whatever. That's all they're thinking about is the money. Like they could put into the shooters and just like it's just win-win, and they call it a day, and it's just reaping those profits,
Yeah, I think EA may very well do that. Like they could try that. That would, in my personal opinion, be a long, drawn-out death sentence for EA. I mean, we're coming into a world where the same thing that happened with the internet is happening with video games. Indie games are like No Man's Sky is an indie game, yet it's getting the same amount of publicity and will probably get the same sales as some AAA titles. Like the gap between these is closing. So if at any point in history was a perfect time for EA to go jackassing it up, now would be the fucking perfect time. Go ahead and dig your own grave as the consumer base itself runs up on the ability of what you can produce. Go ahead and fight the tide of creative people wanting to tell a story for the joy of telling a story, or wanting to make a game for the joy of making a game. Because I'll be honest, EA, you're never going to fucking stand up to those people. So if you want to take this opportunity to shoot yourself in the foot and try and just make everything, that's fine. You're digging your own grave. This will be the last time. And even as it stands, unless 10 years from now, 15 years from now, EA is just going to be this tired, worn-out husk of a company unless it reinvents itself. So
here's the
they're
thing,
coming.
though. It's not just EA though. Like Brad, let me paint an example for you, because this is the trend. Titanfall, Evolve, Call of Duty 3 on last gen, Battlefront, Rainbow Six Siege, and the upcoming Resident Evil. None of these have a single-player campaign, and they're all from different companies. So there's a trend going on here.
A piece of shit first-person shooter games to begin with. Nothing in any of those games that you just said has an original idea. So why possibly? And none of those are trying to be a good game. They're all just cashing in on the success of first-person shooters. There's not any innovation in any of the rest of that. So why would you possibly think that there's going to be innovation in the creative endeavor of it?
But the thing is, people who actually play the Call of Duty campaigns are like, hey, the campaign's actually pretty good, guys. Star Wars, it's Star Wars, dude. People like Star Wars because of the grand, scope of the story and characters. So you're gonna take all that shit away. Even Rainbow Six has good stories too. They're taking it either way. So Resident Evil, another one. That's what people were pissed. Like, I want to play a Resident Evil game with story. Nope, you don't get that now. Well, people want stories. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
And that's why it's not going to go away. It's just not. I mean, I've heard tales of them talking about resurrecting Star Wars 1313.
Oh, please do, because that's the game people want. Not this. I mean, people want Battlefront, but again, and I said this on the show, a lot of people don't understand that there is no single-player game, because every single person I've talked...
There wasn't a single-player game in the campaign in the first Battlefront.
But dude, and I said this too, people are fucking stupid.
Okay, well that's nobody's problem but their own.
Because every single person I've talked to, and I'm not exaggerating, every single person, to a person that isn't a game like one of us, basically, hey, I'm looking forward to Star Wars. It has no single player, right? What? What do you mean? Like, every single one of them. Like, people don't know. I think they're going to get, when they buy this game and there's no single player, they're going to be fucking pissed, dude.
Yeah, well, that's because they're buying Star Wars. They're not buying Battlefront. They have no idea what Battlefront actually is. They're like, it's a Star Wars game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it has no ties to, really any of the movies, per se, other than, real tenuous things.
It just takes place.
Battles.
It's a big battle that takes place in the world of Star Wars. That's all it is.
Yeah, but
it's in the name. You're on the battlefront.
Wars. Yeah, but just like we said, it's just funny how they keep putting out these type of games, no single player, and everybody's angry about it. But again, these guys have that tunnel vision, like Chris said. They just see the money signs.
Can I propose a different scenario?
What is your scenario?
What is your scenario? But again, I'm just talking about the actual scenario that's happening now. But what would you propose?
No, and I'm talking about the actual scenario that's happening now too.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Insanely difficult to write a good narrative. Much more so one that is captivating to a wide audience and becomes mimetic in nature, or catches on. Like the first BioShock, amazing story. The second BioShock, kind of crap story. The third
Not the same.
BioShock, somewhere in the middle. Like it's you can't just reliably produce an amazing story every time. You have to kind of find it from somewhere, and that's why Hollywood right now is it's mining comic books left and right because they're out of good stories to tell, so they're looking for people or for stories to tell. I think video games are the same way. Like there's no saying.
I don't think. Well, I mean, sorry to interrupt, but I don't think it's that Hollywood doesn't know what good stories are. I think they're just not. They're too afraid to take a chance.
Yeah,
well, that's what I mean. They can't.
All of what's happening tonight. All of what's happening right now is just taking one thing and putting it somewhere else. It worked here, might as well work here, and it'll work here. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of what this is. Like, if they can get away without putting a story in a game, and if they're. And I'm not saying these are great creative types of people. They're businessmen. But if they can get away without putting a story in a game, then there's no story there to panhandle. There's no, like, the single-player campaign in this game is crap, but the multiplayer is good. You know how you get around that? You just don't put a fucking single-player game in, and suddenly nobody's bitching about your single-player. It's
that's what's happening now. People, they're taking away the single-player and they're mad. Understand? Like Titanfall, people are like, where the fuck's the single-player? Evolve, where's the single-player?
Well, then let's stop fucking buying the games. We're obviously not mad enough to stop putting money in their pocket.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about that. That's what it is. Yeah, if you want things to change, people, stop buying this shit. It's as simple as that.
That was my solution.
Yeah, that's your solution. Just stop buying it. As simple as that. I don't buy them, so I'm already helping. You know, like you, that's an answer.
Fuck it. It's gonna be a fun time. I'm gonna go ahead.
Not with me. I was like, wait, no single player? Give me my money back, please. Fuck that. That's a waste of my time, man.
Yeah, but see, Tony, here's the thing. Like, there are gamers who are just the opposite of you, and their opinions are just as valid. Like, there are people who don't want to play any game but a multiplayer game. Fuck it. I'm almost one of those people. I find a single-player experience to be diluted, pandering, and at the end of the day, inconsequential. And you have to have a
story. Yet one of your favorite games is probably a lot of your favorite games are probably the most deepest games that you'd probably buy. Story.
Yeah, and that's why I say it has to be a really good story for me to get into it. But at the same time, games that like Ark, for example, I had a more immersive and deep story experience in Ark than I did in Dragon's Age. More shit happened. More drama happened.
Yeah,
and
well,
none of it was scripted.
Yeah. It goes back to what you said. Everybody is different because to me, I'm the other way around. I'm like, multiplayer, that's a vestigial component of a video game. The main heart and soul is the single player character story. That's what you play a game for. That other stuff, this is how I explained it before. I'm like, hey, here's a burrito, fantastic. That's what I came here for. Here's a bag of chips. Hey, that's fantastic. I don't really need the bag of chips. That's nice. Like, okay, let's take away your burrito. Here's the bag of chips. Like, no. I came here for the fucking burrito. So multiplayer to me, again, has always just been an ancillary thing. It's there, but it's inconsequential. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I paid for.
I always feel like a single-player game, I'm going to win. I put enough time in, I'm guaranteed to win. It's the way the game is built. If I'm competing against other players, like if I'm fighting in Destiny, there's nobody saying that I'm going to get a certain rank or win this many rounds. I'm actually fighting against other human players. And that was the difference. Like in single-player Halo, I was always going to win because I was destined to win. The game is designed for me to win. There's no challenge there. The story means not necessarily anything in context, whereas the best way I can describe it to people who don't understand is it's kind of like watching a comedy movie. It's better with friends. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't don't entirely agree with that. But here's the thing, going back to what you just said here. To me, and this goes to the way you and I see the world differently. To me, that's like going, hey, I'm going to go watch this movie, but I'm not guaranteed I'm going to finish watching the movie. It's like, why would I get into something like that? Like, the main reason I play video games is because it's an interactive story. I want to see the beginning, middle, and end. The whole thing where, like, challenge, okay, that's great, but I want to finish the fucking game because, again, I want to finish the movie. I want to see how the story ends. Story is always the main thing above anything else, when it comes to everything. That's why I love video games so much.
And I could see Brett's point, and I could see if EA wanted to make those type of games, like even if you take something like Ark, which had to have a lot of thought and stuff put into it, EA doesn't want to put that much thought in because to them, thought equals money, right? they want to throw everyone in a jungle map and throw tons of guns in there and go have fun. Give me your $60. Like that's what they want. And like you said, like if they want to go down that route and commit suicide, like that's fine. But at the end of the day, that's what we see them doing. That's what they want. It's like, oh, we give them a bunch of maps and a bunch of guns, and we sell season passes. It'll be fantastic.
Yeah, they just hear that money, you know. That's all they're hearing, you know. It's just that's it.
Yeah, but PlayStation. That's the thing. Like the consoles, like PlayStation, doesn't need EA anymore. Xbox doesn't need EA anymore. The idea of a publisher in general is almost vestigial in the age of digital distribution. You don't need a publisher. You don't need their fucking trucks. You don't need their distribution lines. You don't need their deals with Walmart and Target and all these other people. You could just make a game and fucking put it on the platform, the PSN or the Xbox Live that you already have, and sell that fucking game gangbusters. You don't. EA is unnecessary at this point.
I don't know about that, man. If you want your game advertised everywhere, if you want those big ass, you know, voice actors, if you want all that crazy production value, you need a big publisher to give you a lot of money so you can actually make your vision come true.
Because Sony doesn't have access to good voice actors or production values or advertising. I've never seen a highly polished Sony advertising.
So Sony's gonna just take all that money on themselves instead of just letting the publishers.
Dude, they've got a Sony Entertainment way. They make movies. Yes, they're going to take this all that stuff. It's called doing stuff in-house, which is
it's cheaper to have another developer do that shit. You know, like they're going to start producing Dragon Age
games. Do it in-house, man. You don't outsource work that you don't need to. Why do you think Disney is buying up everything left and right?
Yeah, because they want everything. But
they can make an entire movie.
Sony financially is not. You know, PlayStation side is great. Sony as a whole, not so much. You know. So
yeah, are you really telling me that if EA just vaporized off the face of the earth tomorrow, that it would just spell the end of the video game industry? Like, fucking
Of course not, but a big chunk of it, a lot of games, like, okay, that's it. No more Dragon Age, no more Mass Effect, no more Need for Speed. All that shit is gone unless somebody.
They're not developed by EA. They're still plenty of talented developers.
Puts money into them, dude. That's what I'm saying, you know? Like, those games wouldn't be where they are right now if it wasn't for EA pumping money into them. That's what I'm trying to get at. You need big publishers. You can't. Everything can't just be an independent game. You need Activision, you need Ubisoft, you need EA to put out these big production games. EA
is not the only investor, and now in an age of crowdsourcing and all that, you could
crowdsourcing is not reliable though, man. After we've seen with Kickstarter, you know, failures all the time. That is not a reliable business model to, you know, put your game in. That's no.
No, it's not. But I still don't think EA is that important. Like, if EA decides to really start screwing the pooch, we will find a way to work around them. There are other publishers, and even if all the fucking publishers did that, like, look at Steam.
Activision bigger than
who's publishing all these Steam games?
Well, I mean, they're all independent guys, aren't they? Like,
yeah, and what independent just means that they don't have a developer. Or
how many of these games have the same budget as the big games do? You know, very few of them.
Yeah, but how many of these games are making just as much money? I mean, fucking, like, I'll bring it up again, like No Man's Sky. Look at No Man's Sky. Everybody and their brother is fucking excited about No Man's Sky. There's not a publisher hooked onto that game.
Yeah, we'll see how that is, because remember, me personally, I think, man, you could vouch for this too. The more I'm hearing about this game, the less excited I actually am. It's like, okay, what else is going on in this game? Like, the whole idea of, like, okay, you get to explore, space. That's
yeah,
cool.
But it doesn't matter if you like it. Like, the point is that it's reached a critical mass of hype. Like, it is already, like, everybody's fucking talking about it. They're undulated with questions of when is this game going to release. Like, it is at about the apex of popularity. It is going to sell a shitload of copies. Whether or not you like it, it's going to sell a shitload of copies.
I don't know if I like it or not. I haven't played it.
Millions upon millions of dollars. And they've done all of this without a publisher.
Yeah, well, listen, we can't really talk about the success of this game until it actually comes out, because I haven't really heard anyone talk about this after, for months now. It's like, it seems like it's all, like you're saying it's at the apex, but to me it's kind of winding down. No one's really talking about this game anymore. So we're going to have to see, and if it is a success, it's going to be a little bit of a it's not going to be the usual story. Like, you're going to see a bunch of games coming out like that. It's going to be a side thing. Oh, that's interesting. That happened. But if that game's successful, I don't think it'll be like the new norm. I think it'll just
you are
be like,
so curmudgeonly. It's like you've never heard of a game that's been successful without a publisher before.
But the game isn't even out yet. You're saying it's a success. I can't say that.
I'm saying it's going to be a success based simply on the amount of hype that it has is equal to a multi-million-dollar advertising campaign. And let's be honest, us gamers are fucking sheeple. We buy things we've heard about. Everybody's heard about No Man's Sky. If it releases
but
around
let's
Christmas,
be honest. Who's behind No Man's Sky? Let's be honest. Fucking Sony. Come on.
And Brett, we've talked about this before. Like, I see your point, and I could see in like maybe 10 years, maybe this is more true. Where if EA just fucking shit the bed and they went out, like, nobody would miss them. But I think if they shit the bed now and dump, like, I think there would be definitely ripples in the industry. Like, I think
easily.
How much of an impact it would make where they'd just be this low. And you're talking, again, we're talking from our perspective where we're informed gamers. Like, I get emails all the time about what's on Steam, Greenlight, and all this stuff, right? We're in the know. There's guys who didn't know that Destiny was available on Xbox One. Right? Yeah. You're dealing with that, and they're still in the majority of people who are misinformed who can walk into GameStop and get totally fucking bamboozled by the guy at GameStop over what to buy, That's
I'm not saying there wouldn't be waves and that we all wouldn't have to adjust. Some of us more seriously than others. It would probably end up having to be Sony and Xbox, which picked up the slack from these publishers. But is that really such a bad thing when we're all talking about how there's no good exclusives these days? If actually we force the manufacturers of the fucking systems to put money into games in order to bring them to fruition, that's how we got the golden age of exclusives in the first place. So yeah, it would be rough, but my only point is, just because we've always had a fucking publisher doesn't mean they're not a goddamn middleman, and that we can't work towards finding a way to get them out, or that in 10 years they're not going to be nearly as relevant.
Right.
And that's kind of my point.
I wouldn't get so extreme, because remember, like Tony said, they're pumping money into these developers. These guys need jobs. These are their jobs, right?
Yeah.
They can't all be indie guys. A lot of these guys are feeding their families and paying their health insurance with the money EA is giving them to make a fucking Call of Duty game, right? We can't just say, well, fuck EA, just like let them fail, because a lot of people are going to be out of work and not have any benefits or anything, right?
But who's to say somebody else is going to pick up that job, though? Like,
they're not going to get as much money. They're not going to get that kind of money.
40, 50,000 people like go out of work, right? Because EA goes under. You don't know that Sony and Microsoft are going to be able to pick up all these people, right?
Well, that's not even what I'm saying. I'm talking about, like, if we're talking about, like, investors for a game, like, there are plenty of venture capitalists who would be happy to invest in games the same way they invest in movies, the same way they invest in books. Like, you don't necessarily need the people that pour the money in this thing to be fucking EA. And honestly, I don't think it's a good idea for EA to be the one pouring money into all these. Like, it's kind of a monopoly on creativity, a monopoly on what comes to fruition.
There's not a monopoly. We have EA and Activision and Ubisoft. We have a bunch of guys out there putting out games, dude. It's not just EA rules the world. Sony, Microsoft, Square Enix, all these heavy, big people and stuff. It's not just one game company above all,
No,
but at the same time, EA puts out a lot of big games, and if you were to take them out of the equation, or even imagine if you take Activision out of the equation, holy shit, you need these big guys to put out big quality AAA games. Otherwise,
why?
Because, dude, okay, you're gonna tell me an independent studio is gonna put out a game of the same quality as Dragon Age? I don't see that happening. You're gonna see us. Because they don't have the fucking money for it, dude. That's why.
What if they get investors?
They're gonna have to get cheap. Are those investors actually going to be like trustworthy? We don't know about these guys.
You're throwing so many what ifs at me. All I'm really hearing is that a game company could get an investment from an outside source other than a publisher and publish a game independently, and if they did a good job on it, it could be a critical success. There's no reason that you're telling me that a publisher has to be in this equation.
But let's go with that. So let's say that happens, right? Investors come in, they put money into this game, the game comes out as successful. Hey, that was successful. Let's put out another game. Now these guys become a big ass publisher. So you go right back to where you began.
No, they become a big ass developer.
No, dude, they
And I'm
become
not
the
saying
publisher in
ban all
time.
publishers. I'm just saying EA controls an unnatural amount of market share when it comes to publishing games. They throw way more weight around than they should, and in a lot of companies or a lot of industries, that's kind of considered a little bit unfair. Not necessarily illegal, but just kind of it's generally frowned upon.
When you have Activision balancing things and Ubisoft, it's fine. What EA's doing is fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think the scale needs to tip a little more. Like when crowdsourcing and independent development can prove that it can deliver on everything that they promise and deliver consistently and deliver big. That's when EA's got to worry. That's when people can stop dropping off and we can start saying, hey, yeah, maybe we don't need these guys anymore. We're not
Yeah, we're not
quite
there
there
yet.
yet.
We're not
We're
even
not
close to that. We're not even close to that because these crowdfunding things are so unreliable. We hear stories every week now how this game campaign failed, all this shit. It is completely unreliable. You need these guys right now. Maybe in 15 years. Actually, I don't know. I really cannot imagine a world where you don't have a big middleman putting money
Well,
into
I
it.
could see it like 10, 15 years. I could see it, but right now, like, look at the thing with Mighty Number 9. I'm even like get these
Yeah.
emails. I'm like, yeah, but where's my fucking game?
Yeah, where's the
You know?
game? Exactly.
So,
You
I
know,
mean, do things like Rogue Legacy and Don't Starve and that kind of Metroidvania thing Chris was talking about, and Banner Saga and Bastion and Transistor, and like none of these count as good critical success games.
they do count, but you're creating the other component. And I'm not just saying, okay, I need to preface it with, I'm not saying this is what a game needs to be good, because it doesn't. But none of those games have made the kind of money that EA games make. They don't make the kind of money that Activision games make. That's what I'm trying to say. These games are small games that don't need a big fucking development like budget and stuff to get put out there. If you want something like GTA, you need $120 million fucking dollars to get that out there. You don't need $120 million for fucking Don't Starve. That's what I'm trying to get at. You want those big games? They're gonna sell a ton that are gonna get people interested. It's like the
Yeah, but
equivalent of like
GTA
more
isn't something that even most publishers can do. Like it's GTA is like a once in a generation fucking thing. Like it is the absolute apex. So like nobody's standing on that mountaintop with
except
GTA.
Call of Duty and Destiny. There's a bunch of other games out there too, and none of those games could be made in like on a smaller scale. Let's put $20 million into Destiny. No, you need that big ass crazy budget in order for it to actually fulfill its potential. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's just like a movie. It's like, why do you think we had shitty comic book movies back in the day? Because we didn't have the technology or the money back then. Now we do.
So you're advocating that a game needs to have a $20 million budget to be good.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you want a game of a specific quality, of a Mass Effect, of a Dragon Age, of a GTA, of a Red Dead Redemption, you need a lot of fucking money, and it's been proven. You can't. Yeah, I've never seen a $20 million. $20 million is actually a cheap game, by the way. I've never seen a $20 million game that's at the same quality as a GTA. It hasn't happened. You need a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's where these developers come in.
I think it's just scale. I think like Bastion. I played Bastion and I loved it. But if I wanted Bastion to look like Bloodborne, if those developers wanted that, they needed way more money. You're talking astronomical more money than they had.
So how much money did Star Citizen fund? Wasn't it like $89 million or something like that?
They got a lot of money. They did. But here's the thing. It's hard. I have a hard time. And if Star Citizen comes out and it's like everything that they promised, then that's a good example. But there's not enough of Star Citizens for me to put
I'm not saying this is
that.
an average thing, but what I'm like, all parts of the puzzle are there. You have companies that are funding themselves millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars without a publisher. You have companies that are making great games without a publisher. So there's no particular reason why you can't have, I'm not saying it exists, but why you can't have a independent studio that makes millions of dollars to fund a game and then makes a good game. And you have games like No Man's Sky who, despite not having a media campaign, have reached an astronomical amount of hype. Like, they haven't put any money into advertising it. Everybody has heard of this game. So,
but I think we'll get a lot of great small games, but we'll get very, very few great large games. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll get your Star Citizen, and maybe in 8 years you'll get Star Citizen 2. Like, right now we could enjoy like GTA and Batman and Bloodborne and Metal Gear in the same year. that will disappear if it was all independent. Like, they cannot put out games of that scale and that quality and deliver every single time without some kind of overwatch. Like, there's Kickstarters that are failing because of this. Like, these developers, they have the best intentions, as some of them do, some of them don't, but some of them do, but they're not business people. So at the end of the day, they set these high expectations, they take money, they run into all sorts of roadblocks, they run out of money, they ask for more money, and then the project just goes south, right? And that happens way more than a project
the failures that have happened. But are you saying that these are inherent, like they're always going to happen and they have to happen?
No, I'm not saying they have to happen, but they keep happening.
They keep happening because these guys are not business guys. They're all creative guys going, fuck these business dudes. We know how to make the games. We're going to take it to the people. Great, I love that. Here's the problem. At the end of the day, you still need somebody to add up the numbers and tell you like how much you can spend and how much you can't spend. The problem is they've eliminated that, and they're just going to people, taking money. Okay, let's just start coding and building out our great world, and they go, oh shit, we ran out of money. They don't have the business savvy to keep going, to keep on track, to keep a calendar going. A lot of them don't, and that's the problem. They don't have that yet.
And I need to bring this up too, and I know we've been seeing a lot of broken games because they have to release on a certain date, but you also need that, that one or two people in there going, hey, get that fucking game out there. This was happening with Mighty No. Mind. It just keeps getting delayed and delayed.
You won't hear anybody more than me saying
get that fucking game out there.
Yeah, I just made fun earlier of like these douchebags in suits with PowerPoints and stuff. I was making fun of that when you weren't here. It's like I would love nothing more than to see them just fucking die off, right? But at the end of the day, it's like you need.
They serve a purpose, though. Yeah.
You need other, like, I know they screw stuff up, but at the end of the day, you need those guys to keep things in line and to keep the investors happy and stuff like that. These guys, the developers, while they're great guys and they're the core of the game, they're the heart and soul of the game, they don't know how to handle investors. If you're saying don't go to investors, these guys are not business guys. They won't know how to get the maximum amount of money to these guys. They won't know how to set expectations for stuff. And when they stop meeting expectations to investors, guess what? The investors pull out. You lose trust, and that's it. So there's a lot of stuff to factor in. It's like, oh, let's just get rid of publishers and let's just have this. If it was all crowdsourcing, maybe that would work, but at this point, it's not going to work.
Well, like, Ark, for example. Like, Ark has sold at least 1 million copies. I think it's 10. It's already generated over $10 million as of, like, 2 months ago, kind of thing. Like, so let me just get this straight because I'm having trouble wrapping my mind around it. Like, are you guys saying that there is no way that this system can work, or that there's just problems right now that need addressed?
No, there's huge problems right now that need to be addressed.
I'm seeing very few success stories and a lot more like disaster stories. That's what I'm getting at. It's like it can work, yes, like Ark, that it's proven that it's worked. But then you have 10 other games that proven it doesn't work.
Right.
But is that the nature of progress, Tony?
But are you gonna just like let's just get rid of all these guys and just let the basically Darwinian, which is I believe in Darwinism obviously, but
I'm not saying overnight.
But dude, you need.
I'm not saying overnight, but what I am saying is why can't we try and figure out a system in which we're starting to exclude these publishers more and more, especially as they keep shoveling crappy DLC at us, unfinished games at us, games with bugs at us.
I say that will evolve over time. Like I say, like you can't dump them right now. What we're saying is,
but that's why I was saying at the beginning of this. Like 10 years from now, like if EA wants to start digging its grave right now, 10 years from now, we're not going to need them. Like that's.
But I 100% agree with that.
I'll say this: maybe you won't need EA, but you still need guys there that are not in the creative side making the decisions that the creative guys can't, managing the money, getting the releases out.
I can see a whole new series of jobs being created. Like you have an accountant to help you manage your money. You have consultants to help you manage your time. I can see people coming in and being kind of director of operations on a video game. Why? If I run a video game studio and I'm making a gangbusters game and I've crowdfunded a game and I made $78 million and I'm putting that into production of another game, like I now have the money and I now have the budget to make the kind of game that I want to make. And so why would I then go to a publisher and be like, tell you what, here's my nuts, go ahead and put them in a vice and we'll just let you rate my creative rights and then do whatever you want with it. Instead, why don't they go and hire some people who have some experience in this and say, it's your job to keep us on calendar task. It is your job to keep us on budget.
I just think those people are just wrapped up in the publisher's stuff, and I think yes, that does need to happen. Developers definitely need to grow in a direction where they have that business sense, where they can manage their stuff. But right now, you see where the pendulum has swung the other way, and they full on just break off, and they're like, we're gonna do this, and it doesn't work. I mean, look how much money Tim Schafer squandered. How long has he been in the game industry, and he fucking can manage money? It's like because he couldn't do it without somebody to help him with that, and he didn't expand in that direction, right? He just grew his development team.
Wasn't he only able to do that by cashing in on his name recognition, which he has now ruined for the next quote-unquote Schafer game?
He did, yeah. He's like, look at all these games I've made. Give me money, and I'll make a great game. And so everyone did. Here you go, you know. But that's the thing, and he didn't just ruin his own name. He sullied crowdsourcing for everyone else, and that's the thing. Is like all that stuff is going to take time to heal. It's like it's not helping that Mighty Number 9 sent me an email the other day that my T-shirt is coming. I'm like, I don't give a shit about the T-shirt.
Yeah,
I've been playing this game already, you know.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. It's like this keeps happening where like people bail out of projects or like you just get excuses or whatever, and it's like. It's like there's not really this transparency until they get in trouble, and it's like, why is this happening? And this is happening because they're not these studios don't have that business part. Like, yes, maybe they don't need a publisher, but they certainly need somebody managing the money and need somebody to talk to investors, which are us in some cases, and which may be big money guys in other cases. That's where the publishers fit in. And I would love the day when they all just fucking go to hell, but. That we're not there yet, and if you took them out of the equation right now, there'd be huge ripples in the game industry. Like we couldn't just go full independent like right now. If tomorrow I woke up and it's like EA, Activision, Ubisoft, and Square Enix have gone bankrupt, they were all fucked. Like
the apocalypse, the gaming apocalypse. Yeah, exactly. I think we pretty much talked about everything here. Brett, I'm so glad you showed up, man, because we need that debate, man. Awesomeness. So that's pretty much it. One thing next week we're actually going to be on Wednesday night because Comic-Con is on Thursday. Manny and I won't be here for Thursday night, so we're going to be recording his shit Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Usual time and stuff. So the show will be up, MP3, all that shit will be available, and we should have a lot of. Actually, for me, I'm going to give you guys so much shit next week because they decided, hey, it's Comic-Con, let's have 3 gaming events. It's like. Why didn't you have those 3 gaming events before Comic-Con? I got too much shit.
Because it's Comic-Con. Shut up.
fucking. But I'll have some good stuff out. Star Wars, Adrift.
We all feel bad for you having too much cool stuff to do, Tony.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, drinking your Avion water.
Actually, just to say
that's the Pellegrino, man.
Yeah, Pellegrino water and having to review games. Oh my God.
Actually, check this out. I was actually invited to a cocktail party, but I'm like, I got Throwdown to do, so sorry.
You could have gone to the cocktail party, put on a nice tie. With
oh, no, they don't care about that shit, man. It's the gamers. We don't have ties. So, yes.
Then it's not a cocktail party.
Well, they call it a cocktail
party. Some niggas in the room.
You come a gentleman. You don't come at all.
Yeah, you think hip hop gamers gonna be coming in with a tie? Come on, man.
No, he's gonna have a tie on the belt.
Wait, yeah, he's gonna have a tie that's looking like his belt, right?
That's when you roll up with the tie and you're like, oh, no tie.
Put the tie around his, fucking shoulders. Oh man. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of good stuff, and I got some other things for you guys too, but you shall see that later. So let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to follow The Coalition at thecoalition.com. Subscribe to Throwdown, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Throwdown Show and on Facebook. Links are available in the description down there. Once again, I'm sure it's Tony Polanco. Today I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
Kamen Rider.
Nice. Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everybody.
And Brett Murdoch.
It's been real, kids.
All right, people. Later.
Deuces.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Peace.